There are many great VR games out there on the market, but one in particular really stands out to me. It offers amazing puzzles, combat, physics, and, if you dig into it, story. What game exactly am I talking about? Blade and Sorcery. Nah, just kidding. Get that out of it. I'm talking about Boneworks. This game, I think, I've been thinking on it for quite a while. This might be now my favourite game of all time. This game is absolutely crazy. It is an absolute drug trip of a game. So with that said, of course, spoiler warning for this video. If you want to experience Boneworks for the first time yourself, make sure you do that, because I'm going to be talking about basically the entire game throughout this video and just how it is so amazing in every single aspect. So Boneworks released about 2 years ago, and you know, obviously I'm quite late on this video because it took me until 2022 to play Boneworks. And oh boy, when I did, I never regretted it. It is the best game I have ever played, especially in terms of VR and maybe even in terms of just games in general. The absolute experience this game offers is crazy. And first of all, we're going to talk about the basics. So let's start with the controls. So your most basic control that you have, which will come in handy in every single situation, is your force grab. All you do is put your arm out towards an object and then press the triggers or grip your hand, and that object will come towards you. This allows you to obviously pick up stuff from far away. You can use this to your advantage in many situations. And then with Boneworks being a game where you can do hilarious things to the enemies, of course it has to have a slow-mo feature. All you need to do is press down the X button and boom, you slow down. You do have to spam it if you want to stay slowed down, but this allows you to, let's say, reload when you're in a sticky situation, or slow down to get an epic, cool looking trick shot or something. So that control is basically essential for this game also. And then the rest is the basics. Obviously you move with your joystick, you can look around with your joystick, or you can physically look around. And you can also crouch, but you can also physically crouch if you need to. In my entire many hours playing this game, I've had no problems with the controls. They are great, they're super smooth, they're very natural, and overall make for a pretty immersive experience. So the plan in today's video is to just talk about every level in chronological order, talk about its pros and its cons, and what just makes Boneworks and all of its levels so great. So that brings us to Breakroom. So Breakroom is the first level you enter in the game unless you count main menu. And here you are. This basically gives you a little tutorial. It teaches you how to force grab at the start. I got very frustrated at this when I first played because I had no idea how to force grab, because it was like my first time ever playing VR really, apart from VR chat. So yeah, that's right, I started with Boneworks, the expert VR game, when I got a VR. I'm that cool. So all you have to do in this first section is force grab some items and throw them in either side. You can unlock a secret in the next level if you throw them all in the archive bin, so that's what I do here. And if you wanted to, you can actually just completely skip this and jump over it, but obviously I didn't want to do that. So this level serves as a real nice introduction to a lot of features that will stand throughout this entire game, such as, you know, obviously the battery here, the levers, the force grabbing, and just a lot of physics. As you walk through, there's quite a few lore pieces on all the walls if you want to read those, but I skip past them because I'm so fascinated by the interaction with everything and how you can touch literally everything and beat the hell out of that monkey. And what makes this level a 10 out of 10 is the fact that they gave this magazine physics. Like, who's even gonna go pick this up and try bend it? But they didn't care. They were like, you know what, we're gonna make this magazine bend like a real magazine. It's so awesome. But then shortly after, we get our first taste of maybe this place isn't as it seems. As when you open this locker, there is a picture of an eye, and it says you are being watched, which when I first opened this locker, I had to check behind me because I was actually really scared. And then as we enter the break room itself, this massive blast happens, which just reminds you that everything here is interactable and you can touch all of it. Sorry. And as you're on your way about to exit the break room, you may hear something.
Waking up inside another place like this, a confusion, a jumbled mess. Pick it up, pick it up. Wondering how these shadows
Well, that was fast. On to the next level! Welcome to the Museum of Technical Demonstration. As you walk through those front doors of the museum, you enter this massive hallway with this music that fades in, and you hear the voice welcoming you to the museum. It makes you really feel like a kid again. You feel small and alone. So the museum acts as a tutorial. It shows you around many of the features and mechanics that will be throughout the entire game, and it teaches them in a very good way, because instead of holding your hand and restricting you to what you do, or make you do stuff, at certain times or something stupid, you do what you want. You take your time. You walk around the museum, you can read, or if you want to, you can not. You can just skip through all this, and overall, it's probably the best tutorial I have ever done in any game. And in terms of the music, Riot did an absolutely amazing job. Every song in this game fits every single situation. This music here at the start makes you feel alone and lost, and if we play one of his other songs in this area over the gameplay, it completely changes the atmosphere. The music plays such a big part in this game. The great thing is that the way it teaches you is that normally you test things out yourself, as you're posed with challenges which the only logical reason will be, let's say, you have to crouch, so you'll try crouching, and it works. Boom, you now know how to crouch for the entirety of the game. The sheer amount of flexibility this game has just allows you to make so many discoveries so fast, and that's why this level acts as your playground. It makes you feel as if you're a kid again. And eventually you'll come up to this solid wall, and I swear to you, I have been here in real life. This place looks so familiar, I hate it. Turns out the wall is fake and you can slip through, and here we are. Our next area. The museum music kicks in. And let me say, this song alone makes me feel like a kid again. Brandon, one of the main developers at Stress Level 0, asked Riot to compose a song that made you feel like a kid again, and that's exactly what he did. And let me say, he did a bloody good job. The music combined with the gameplay just makes this unreal. It feels as if you are just experiencing new things again, and there's just something so magical about it. This game is not a game, it is an experience, and if you can play this game, please do, because it's actually revolutionary. After another little segment of, smashing stuff up and destroying stuff, one of my personal favourite things to do, we get to hear our next song, and our first actual puzzle in the game. One of the main things that makes this game so replayable and so amazing is that there is no right solution to a puzzle. If you look and try hard enough, you can find some crazy way to get around it, which is kind of what I do here. I do a little trick with a sledgehammer. But yeah, no surprise, I mess it up. But that's alright, I was just setting up my next trick. And a lot of people don't like the puzzles in this game, but even if they can be very frustrating, I think there's something so amazing about them. Like, instead of being forced to do it one way, you can figure out so many different ways to do it, allowing speedrunners to be absolutely cracked, of course. But no matter which way you do a puzzle, you basically always end up in the same spot as a result, which is great because it means you don't miss out on anything, but at the same time also doesn't allow you to break the game too much, which, obviously is good. We then get an introduction to the reclamation bin, which is basically the way you unlock things in sandbox mode. So you just throw anything you find in there, basically everything goes in there that you'd imagine, like all weapons, all tools. throw them in there, and boom, they'll be permanently in your creative mode now, basically. And once again, the way they execute this, they manage to make it fun, just you throwing items into this little thing. There's something so awesome about it. And we enter the gun range, which I know you've all been waiting for this. This is where we get our weapons. And another thing this game is known for is its manual reloading, which allows for failure, which in the heat of a battle can really spice things up. You can obviously miss your ammo clip or run out of ammo or something, and yeah, every time you want to reload you do need to do it manually, which I know sounds bad, but to be honest there's something very satisfying about it. Another great thing the practice range teaches you is that dual wielding is sadly kind of useless, because as soon as you run out of ammo, which is quite fast if you're constantly firing, yeah, you're going to struggle to reload. And then there's the test dummies, which really do let out the inner psychopath in you. Now there's only one more room to go to in the museum, really. Welcome to the gift shop. Now you can't actually buy anything here, but just looking around, seeing all the stuff there is to offer and pretending you're buying stuff really does, once again, make you feel like a kid. And you really do get that feeling when you're at a place you really like, but it's unfortunately time to go. You just want to stay and want to look at all the stuff, but eventually you will have to leave. And because us as humans are so used to the gift shop being at the end of attractions, the game doesn't need to tell us that we're about to actually go from the museum. We just automatically know. Now that you've got your items from the gift shop, you have to accept that you are going to have to leave, so it's time to leave. But turns out you can't the actual way because it's blocked. Yeah, you already know we're gonna have to jump down there. And there is something special about this moment, because obviously you know the environment down there isn't gonna be as nice, but you have to push yourself to leave the wonderful museum and go into the dangers beyond. And that brings us to streets.
This is Ryu from Streets.
First of all, null bodies on the floor. These guys look like they are very capable of waking up and scaring the hell out of you, but luckily for you, they don't hear. But when I was first here on my first playthrough, I was very cautious. I was scared these guys are going to stand up and jump me. What Streets is very good at is its vastness. Similar to the museum, except this time, even bigger. You walk down these massive alleyways of these towering buildings over you. Once again, it's very good at making you feel very small. And the change in environment is crazy. We've gone from a colourful and playful museum to these drab, dull streets. And what's good about the placement of these dead bodies is that you are very likely to go and smash them up, right? I mean, that's what I do every time. Maybe I'm just a psychopath. What's good about them is that it teaches you how to damage nobodies. Oh no, not again! There's a lot of children's drawings on these walls, and trust me, if you know what a lot of these are, it's kind of creepy. And here is where our first encounter begins. This game is incredibly good at showing, as here you can see it poses us with a problem, and it gives us our way to fix it. Here I use the cinder block to smash that. Turns out the door is a push anyway, so the wood actually wasn't blocking it, and I managed to sneak past the null body. What is so special about this game is that you can play this game as who you are as a person. You can be a mischievous little bitch, or you can be some sort of badass who just comes through and absolutely wrecks this guy's shit. I think you could tell which one I am.
Hey.
The possibilities on how to kill enemies are literally endless. You can grab them where you want, you can smack them where you want, you can do whatever you want, and it's just so fun. The combat literally can never be the same. Like, you will always swing at them a different way, or they will swing at you a different way, making every single battle unique, and that's why this game never gets old. We get our first look at the Omni projectors a bit later into the level, and this part's kind of scary for the first time because that is the area you were just walking around in, and now those guys guns are there. You haven't seen guys with guns yet. And that's probably one of my main problems with Boneworks, is that enemies can't really have guns or weapons. Like, you can't give Fords or nobodies like guns and stuff, which would be really cool. So maybe that could come to Bonelab in the future. Another great thing about Streets is that it acts as a very nice tutorial, as, you know, to practicing beating up enemies, using your fists, using weapons. It just gets you up to date with what the combat is like. And oh, trust me, you're gonna need it. And then after a good old puzzle solve, we get to our next kind of section of the level.
Yo, Arthur, over here. How are you still in the city?
Welcome to possibly one of the best parts of Streets. There's just a little section here with a lot of props and enemies, and let me say, it's just super fun to absolutely destroy these guys. One of my personal favourite things to do with guns is to melee them in the face with either the end or the front of the gun so they fall over, or just straight up die, and then shoot them when they hit the floor. Streets has at least 3, maybe 4 radios in it, making it the level with the most radios, I'm pretty sure. So, there you go. There's more pluses for this level.
Waking up inside another place like this, a confusion, a jumble.
As you can see, there is a lot of melons down here. That is very significant to the lore, believe it or not, which is, you know, very weird. And also, this is our first encounter of one of those shooty guys. Yeah, by themselves they are not very strong at all, but when in groups, which we might see later, a bit of foreshadowing there, they are quite powerful. The nobodies are trendy as hell. They're doing the invisible box challenge. I actually cheesed this puzzle here because I was too lazy to do it properly. Which, again, shows how great these puzzles are. If you want to, you can kind of just get around doing literally any of them if you're smart about it. Or if you've got the skill. And this little roller coaster here takes us to our last part of Streets. And what better way to end off this first proper level with an absolute battle. So if you want to, you can skip this entire office section down here, but I love to come down here just because it's so fun killing guys in this game. It's so good. And like I mentioned earlier, everybody will fight differently. Everybody will have their own style, and even if it is similar, everything they do will be slightly different to me because obviously you can't really exactly replicate someone's movement in this game. That's why the replay value is absolutely crazy. And of course, you are not really limited to what you can use as a weapon. If you really want to, you can even use these bins as a weapon, as you can see there. And I know you're all thinking it, yes, you can put the nobodies inside of bins. It's so good. But anyways, that finally does it for Streets. Now we're going to head to the next level. This one took a very long time. The other ones shouldn't take as long, I don't think. I think Streets might be the longest level in the game, possibly. And keep in mind, there's a lot of bits here that I completely cut out. So yeah, you have a lot to unpack in this level. So from everything we've seen in this level, I think you can tell this is probably one of, if not the best levels in the game. This level is 100% up of my favourites. So when you first enter Runoff, you get your first look at another you. There is a person that looks exactly like your player model, but before we can learn anything about them, the gate shuts in front of us. But luckily, he supplied us with, in my opinion, the best weapon in the game. The sword. Once again, Boneworks and its limitless possibilities allows you to use a gun as some sort of club or sword. I absolutely love doing this, it's so cool. Another clever thing they do with Runoff is they put these cinder blocks up at the top of this ledge at the start of Runoff, and then a null body conveniently right below you. Also, the gun sword is actually a really efficient weapon. I recommend trying it. As we get ourselves our way out, look who we run into again. Yeah, the shooty guys are back, and this time we're going to have to deal with quite a lot of them. There's my foreshadowing from earlier. So this gets us into the Runoff trenches, and in front of us we can see the Time Tower, which is our ultimate destination we need to get to in this game. Overall, this section is really great. There's a massive battle with loads of guys through different sections, and intense music, loads of cover to hide behind, and loads of bad guys to kill. Now we get to possibly the most annoying puzzle in the game. This really brings down Runoff for me. I hate this puzzle. Luckily, you can skip it very, very easily, and for some reason, on my first playthrough, I didn't try this at all. And yeah, I suffered through doing the actual puzzle. For those of you that remember the museum section of the level, I said that dual wielding is kind of useless and the museum teaches you that. You're about to see it in action. I'd imagine when put in the right hands it could be useful. My hands were not the right ones in this circumstance at all. And despite my absolute failure, of course I'm going to carry on trying. In fact, I end up fully just dying here. But I'm not letting that be the end of me. I have never died this many times on one section in this game, I swear. These guys can normally go down in one punch from your fist, but this time for some reason they were the most buff enemies I've ever fought. Oh, but it's not over yet. Okay, back on to the next major segment. Oh, it's another fight segment. I don't know what was wrong with me when I was recording the Runoff, because look how many ammo clips it takes me to kill this one guy who was completely stood still. And now we enter the most darkest, most scariest last part of Runoff. And this is where we first see the void entities. Remember those guys that were on the children's paintings earlier in Streets? Yep, that's them. And also the early exit Fords. These guys are basically the zombies. They're kind of scary, I'll be honest. But no match for the gun sword, of course. But yeah, this section is very freaky. There's music that plays only here, I think, in the entire game. And yeah, it really does freak you out. And these guys just start appearing from literally nowhere, and they start dropping from the ceiling and stuff. It's really scary. And that ends off Runoff. Pretty great level, a lot of combat, which isn't a bad thing in this game. It's a lot of fun killing guys all the time. A great introduction to newer enemies that we're going to encounter later on a bit more. Basically Streets 2, and it looks like there's no other way we can go apart from through the sewers. Oh boy, this is going to be rough. Sewers is where shit really hits the fan. This is definitely the most horror type level in the game, and oh god, I hate coming to this level because I'm actually really scared of a lot of parts of it. But by no means is it a bad level. It is actually a really great one. And because there is no like security / supervision in this area, because you know it's just the sewers, the null bodies quite literally thrive here. This is like their home turf. And the music really does help with this you're not meant to be here kind of vibe. You really do feel like, yeah, you're in a bad spot. And now that they've shown us off the zombies in the last level, you can tell they're gonna be in this one. What makes the zombies worse is that their lifeless glowing eyes really shine in this level because of how dark it is, which makes them really freaky, especially if you turn around and they're right in your face, which happens a lot in this level. And in fact, in this level, you can't see here because I alerted them with the gun, but the developers put the zombies round corners of obstacles so you can't see them till you walk past, and then they like make a loud noise in your ear. Stress level 0 my ass. Stress level maximum this shit is. The pure atmosphere of this level makes you really immersed because you're constantly on alert and paranoid of what could be around the next corner. It actually makes you more immersed in the game when you are terrified of what is about to come up behind you.
Hello!
And now we get introduced to our next enemy, the corrupted nullbody, which sneaks up behind you on this little section, and I actually shouted when he appeared this time because I forgot he was there because I don't visit this level at all. So yeah, he scared the absolute hell out of me. And man, these zombie enemies fit this level too well. They're terrifying. The zombie throwers also make an appearance in this level. These are the guys that just launch projectiles at you. They're the normal zombie guys. So they're not really their own enemy, but they count as their own enemy, if that makes sense. There's also one way out of this area, that is through these slippy pipes, which are super fun to go down and also terrifying. And this leads us to the next section of the level, which is an entire pitch black pipe section. Yeah, this part is not nice. This level really does put you in a sense of danger as you're always checking behind you and checking around corners just to make sure that, you know, there isn't something lurking there. The next part of this level features a massive bottomless pit and a bunch of null bodies which, you know, are asking to be thrown down that hole. This section is super fun and also still super terrifying. They snuck up on me a few times somehow, which scared me. Man, anything remotely scary hits a lot harder in VR, I swear. Also, if you want to be a bit more cautious, make sure you don't shoot the gun, because there's a lot of zombies just over the side there. If you shoot once, they'll get alerted, and trust me, that'll make things a lot worse. We then get a closer look at those corrupted null bodies again. Now I want you guys to pay attention on this little section here. So there are 2 corrupted null bodies here. I shoot this one, he falls off of the bridge, so there's only one left to attack me. I throw the second one off the bridge myself. Boom, they have both been dealt with. So where does this guy come from? He scared the hell out of me.
Hello!
Once again, more guys hidden around the corner. They love to do it in this level. It just gets worse. It just gets worse. In this room we get access to the night vision goggles, which trust me are going to help. And we also get introduced to the crablet enemy, which is the little crab VR headset hybrid, alive, sentient creature things. You can find them in levels like streets and stuff, but they're more of a secret enemy then. This is where they actually just spawn and there's no way you can avoid it. Also, a thing that's cool about the night vision goggles we have on is that they aren't just a filter that gets put on your screen when you wear them. They actually are physically on your head. Like, if I turn really fast up and down, you'll be able to see that you can actually see out of them slightly. And as we go to grab the key, there's a radio. Finally, we get to change the music and feel a bit more comfortable. These bastards quite literally glow, and yet I still miss them and they scare the hell out of me. And also here's my proof that they get placed behind obstacles so you can't see them until you walk past. It's so scary. But with my radio and with my new axe, I feel powerful.
Sneeze!
It's funny because in the gameplay you can see me checking every corner because I'm so paranoid there's going to be something there now. If your game alone is able to alter how you play, then it's a good game. Just already, it's going to be a good game. And Stress Level 0 does exactly that. And then we enter the final main kind of room. Yeah, we're going to have some sort of battle in here. Also, this place looks pretty badass without the night vision on. This level really is evil, because even down this really dark corridor, you finally get to the reclamation bin. Look who's here! There's a zombie at the reclamation bin. Who would do this? Normally the reclamation bin is a place where you feel safe. Not here, there's crablets and zombies everywhere still. And we end up in warehouse. Oh, this is such a breather compared to what we just had to put up with. Also, single null body at spawn. Love to see it.
There's a rumor from security that somebody broke into the complex and coordinated a breach in Myth.
So warehouse kind of acts as one big puzzle. You've got to figure out how to get past and into this warehouse. So obviously the game's showing you that you need a battery to open up the gate to get through. But that is nowhere near the only way. If you want to, you can stack some boxes up, then jump through the window, or you can somehow make it onto the roof and then smash through the roof windows, or you can vault this fence to get the battery early to save you going the whole way round. Honestly, I think this is quite a high tier level. It's very bright, it's very Boneworksy. I don't really know how to explain that, but it's just a very Boneworks kind of level. And inside the warehouse, it's very clean and colourful, and I don't know why, I just really like it. I really like the orange floor, and I don't know, it just looks super clean, and it's definitely a nice refresher from the dirty, horrible sewers we just have to go through. Another weird thing that happened was a crablet got full-on stuck in the door, which was terrifying. I've never seen this happen before, so you know, that was kind of weird. What I love about the crablet enemies is that They are very good for using your body to your advantage. Like, you could either step on them, or a real good way to kill them is to just full-on headbutt them. I love doing stuff like that. And there ain't no other game apart from Boneworks where you can get your full body to have weight and mass and be able to use it to your advantage in any situation. There's no other games that do that. So I actually messed this puzzle up so I couldn't do it the intended way. But who needs an intended way when you're in Boneworks? So instead, I broke the window, I climbed out, I took the ladder up to the roof, and I did a running jump to get over to the other side. And then in the room inside this smaller warehouse, we learned that crablets can attack nobodies, and nobodies can also attack them back. On to the final part of the level. Here we get to hear some new music. This song goes absolutely hard, especially when you're destroying enemies, as you'll see in a sec. I actually spend time behind cover just waiting for the beat drop, because you feel so good when you're killing enemies to this song. Welcome to the second most scariest level in Boneworks, Central Station. I don't know why, but not a lot of people really like this level, and I kind of agree, but I don't really have any actual reason why I don't like this level. I just kind of never go on this level, like, at all. But what you're about to see is the reason why this level is good. The tower is as close as ever, and it's towering over us with lightning and rain in the background. This moment is really special, and to me the music here indicates progress and almost being there. As the time tower is now as close as ever, we are almost at the end of our adventure. The music in this segment just adds so much to this kind of little montage where you go grab the key and find the way through. It is possible to cheese quite a large section of this level if you shoot the button up there instead of actually going, you know, to the button yourself, because that puzzle there is kind of annoying. There's something so freaky about it. These guys just stand there like that sometimes, just looking at you with their head down. It's horrible. Looks like we're back in nobody territory. I actually had to go through this level twice to do this recording, and these guys around this corner scared the hell out of me. And yeah, for some reason, the first time I recorded this, it got corrupted, so I have to go do it again. But yeah, overall this segment is pretty great. There's loads of zombies chasing you, and quite a few of the zombie throwers too, the one that launched the projectiles. And then there's also this turret here you have to dodge. It's just chaos everywhere. But for a bit, all the zombies did was kind of just stand around. And then all of a sudden they all started marching towards me at the same time, which actually really caught me off guard. And for the first time ever, I actually used the turret as my own weapon. Because it's kind of hard to do this because of how heavy the turret is, but yeah, if you click that red button on the back of the turret, you can actually shoot it. Yeah, it's not a very efficient way, but you know, it's possible. Then you might also notice this vent. This is the first level we've seen an actual kind of vent system you can go in, which once again raises the bar for this level. I think it's pretty cool. It's also really satisfying to pull and push off the grates. And yeah, it turns out these vents lead to a secret melon facility where there's a few of these corrupted nobodies jamming out to the radio music, which is crazy. This is definitely one of those mindfuck moments this game gives you. Like, you crawl through some vents and end up in a facility where there's these sentient beings creating melons. It's so crazy. This level also gives you a lot of freedom, because in this recording I missed a hell of a lot of rooms. There's like many different routes you can take in this level, which once again makes it even better. And right at the end of the level where the reclamation bin is, once again, it's another not safe one. These scary levels always have an unsafe reclamation bin. And we also see a stray shooty guy here, basically indicating that, yeah, we're going to see him in the next level. And trust me, next level is going to be a great one. We finally made it to Tower. This level is definitely one of, if not, my favourite level in the game. Tower serves as kind of an ultimate final destination where all your skills combined are now going to be used in one area. You got to deal with shooty guys and with nobodies at the same time. This level is great because it just feels like there's always action going on. Like, it's a very populated area. You can always hear the shooting of the shooty guys, or you can always see zombies walking around. There is certainly a lot more combat in Tower, and that's what makes it so great. It feels like the final marathon to your final destination. There's actually a nice little gift shop in this level. It takes me back to the museum. As we begin to head higher into the tower, we hear this new music, which once again reminds me of progress. And this time, the shooty guys will not kill me multiple times. My skills have evolved. And that's another thing that's great. It feels like everything you've done throughout the game is building up to this moment. You've increased your aim to become better at shooting at the guys you will meet later on in the tower and stuff. These two zombie throwers really did bring me a lot of trouble for some reason. I think I died twice to them. So I got them back pretty well. You then hear this badass music coming from the next room. What is going on? This is the best part in the entire game, by the way. Yeah, you saw that right. Possibly the best moment in the entire game. When I first walked through them doors, I had no idea what was happening. It was so good. It's moments like these that make this game definitely my favourite. It's so good. And for the most part, Tower had quite a serious vibe to it, and then this happens. It's so unexpected. We've got to stick around for one more drop. Definitely the best moment in the game. And then we reach the second floor of the tower. Oh, you know what's gonna go down here. is one of my favourite sections in the game. Just running through this part, killing all the shooty guys to this music, there's just something about it, it's so good. It feels like the final push to victory. Now right here I could have just finished the level, but I love this section so much that I decided to backtrack to kill more guys. Now I know it's a very simple thing that a lot of games have, but I am very happy that you can backtrack in sections like this. Like I mentioned all the way back in Streets, this game is very good at its scale and making you feel small. Welcome to Time Tower. This massive ball is basically the final boss of Boneworks, and it proves that you do not need to fight something living to have a final boss. Coming up the elevator and just seeing the size of this thing tower over you, it really does feel intimidating, and it feels like you are about to have an absolute boss battle. So the goal is to get 4 of these energy cores into the different sides of the massive ball, which I think is the clock. And each time you put a energy core into one of its respectable holes, more and more enemies begin to spawn, making it harder for you to finish putting them all in the holes. So it basically serves as a massive gauntlet of enemies you have to fend off while you're also trying to, do something else, which I'm fine with. I think that's great. And the music, the music. It's nothing like we've heard so far in the entirety of the game, and I call it the Dark Souls Trap Remix. And as you put the 3rd energy core in and have 1 left, everything turns red. This is it, this is the final push. There's zombie throwers spawning now that are shooting projectiles at you. All you gotta do is get 1 more energy core inside the clock. I really like this part because it feels like when Thanos snapped, everybody around you starts disappearing. And now we reach possibly the most unnerving part of the game. We get teleported to this random corridor, pitch black in front of us. And the game gives us a flashlight. You know it's going to be bad. And now we come face to face with one of the void entities. And he's in front of us twitching in pain or anger, we don't know. But before we can learn anything, he disappears into the wall. The wall that says welcome home on it. I've been to this room in the game about 5 times, and yet it still makes me extremely unnerved. The door is quite literally shouting, "Keep out." But you already know we're gonna have to go through there. Yeah, turns out Time Tower's actually a really good level. So we enter the void. So we now kind of accomplished our goal. We are now immortal inside of Boneworks itself. The lore goes very deep and is very hard to explain, so I'm not going to bother trying to explain it in this video, but there's some other pretty good videos out there you could watch, or maybe I could do one myself. But yeah, we achieved immortality through VR. It's true. And now we are gonna go somewhere new. This is another one of the game's biggest moments. When you think you just straight up finish the game, you end up in a completely different environment. You end up in a fantasy prison. Every time you play this game, it will never be the same to the first time you discovered these things. They are just such a shock. And now this guy stood in front of us. That's us. That is Arthur Ford. It's us, but not. There are multiple of us in this world. How? And these guys only show up for the last 3 levels in the game, but their time being here makes them the most memorable characters in this game. They have so many funny voice lines and just good interactions. Ask anybody who's played the entirety of Boneworks and they will definitely know quotes like "What up, son?" and "I hope I can walk like that someday."
What up, son? Oh, I think I'm dying. What up, son?
Hey, friendship!
Hey, what up, son?
I absolutely love these guys. I couldn't tell you how many Fords are out there, but they seem to live here, which is pretty awesome. They even have live TV of other Fords fighting zombies. How cool is that? I think this level might be the shortest in the game, and it only consists of one puzzle, which you can easily skip, and I skip it. I don't think I've ever done this puzzle legit, because I couldn't figure it out, so I just kind of cheated. But I guess there is no cheating in this game. There's no such thing as it, so yeah. This level kind of just serves as an introduction to the Ford NPCs, so it's fine that it's short, and yeah, it's not very high on my list. But Arena! Oh, Arena changes everything. First off, it gives you a sword and shield, some of the funnest weapons in the game. Yeah, I use the shield as a weapon, it's really good surprisingly. And we also get introduced to probably one of the best characters in the game.
Prove your strength to earn an audience with the king.
The King Ford. So there is an entire separate game mode in Boneworks where you can come to this arena, but it's slightly different, and all these wooden spikes around the outside aren't there, which makes me sad because you can actually impale people on it and it's super fun. Once again, this level is just another of the many playgrounds this game has to offer, and you can just do anything the way you want to. It's great. I am so sad that these spikes aren't in the other arena game modes. God, they're so good.
Hey, we've seen enough. Join me in the throne room for a 1v1.
This level goes hard, I need to come here more often. We finally made it to the final level, Throne Room. I guess this is what really could be considered as the final boss. You'll see what I mean in just a sec. That's right, the real final boss of Boneworks is yourself.
You've come all this way. Dukes up!
What I like about this boss fight especially is the little secret hidden weapon.
Hey, he didn't have a chance.
Dude, they found you in the old offices. I mean, like the physical world version of you.
This level really does feel like a final level. Feels like the stakes are high and you've got to get to the finish as fast as you can. Or you just have to finish fast before you run out of storage space for any more recording. And now it's time for our final fight. They are about to throw everything they've got at us and we've got to fend it off. This is also where they introduce us to the king crablets, which are just bigger crablets. It's weird that they only come for this final fight, but I guess it makes sense. And what I love about this gravity gun weapon is that you can grab the zombie thrower projectiles and launch them back at enemies. It's a lot of fun. There's probably so many different ways to kill enemies that I haven't even thought of yet or even know about. And the true final part of Boneworks is this massive ladder. Now I know you're thinking that might be a bit lame, but let me say, this climb is actually a lot more than you think. Trust me when I say this, doing this climb is worth it. You can cheese it with the gravity gun, but trust me, doing it is a lot better. The accomplishment you feel really makes it all worth it. And so we finally make it. And so that concludes Boneworks. There is no other game like this one. Like, if you like it or not, there is no other game like this one. This is, in my opinion, an absolute masterpiece of a game. My favourite game, in fact. I've made the decision throughout the video. I finally made the decision. This is my favourite game. And I want to thank everybody at Stress Level Zero for making this absolute amazing game. I play it so much and I thank them for making me have such a good time. All the developers are amazing people and I hope everything goes great with their development for their next game, Bonelab, which is going to be a sequel to Boneworks. I'm going to have to make a few videos on that one. Damn, that's going to be the most exciting shit ever. For a relatively small development team, these people make the best games I've ever seen, or at least in terms of Boneworks, this is the best game ever. I love this game. I love the developers. Thank you again. They even helped me get motivated to start uploading on my channel again, so thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And also thank you to you guys for watching the video. If you watched the entire thing, I respect you a lot and love you. If you didn't watch the entire thing, I respect you a lot and love you. This video took around 15 plus hours of editing and a lot of motivation needed, so if you want to see more Boneworks videos like this, if you want to see more longer videos like this, let me know in the comments, let me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, it means a lot. and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. Oh yeah, and my overall rating of this game is 10 out of 10.